Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning from us and this pair of white-bellied sea eagles.
What a view that is.
Which is absolutely fantastic. These are in Australia. They're in Sydney, actually. And of course, as we are moving towards our autumn and winter, they are moving towards their spring and summer, which means that we can switch our webcams to watch nests from the northern to the southern hemisphere. And that's what we've done today. So look at that. You can see them there on the nest. I've got some information about these birds here, actually. They're in the same nest as they used last year, and they had a successful breeding season last year. They laid 2 eggs. And you know one thing that's interesting, which I've only just learned, when we watch golden eagles in the UK, we know that they often lay 2 eggs, but they start to incubate them straight away. So one hatches before the other. So you have one big chick, therefore, and then one small chick. Very often the small chick doesn't survive. It's the Cain and Abel strategy, as we call it. But in these white-bellied sea eagles, they put a delay in the incubation. So they lay the first egg, they don't incubate it, then they start incubating both of them, so that when they hatch, the young are pretty much the same size. They both fledged last year, and they were seen out hunting on the Parramatta River. And one of them dispersed, but the older of the two actually fledged at 82 days, but sadly was found later dead in the natal territory. It was emaciated and failed to thrive after fledging. But the other animal is out there flying around the suburbs of Sydney somewhere. Fantastic stuff, and you can check those out. This is on a website. It's birdlife.org.au. So BirdLife, of course, is that umbrella organisation, fabulous organisation, active all over the world.
Everywhere, aren't they?
Yep.
The branch everywhere.
Doing good stuff for science and conservation too. But this is their branch in Australia. So that's birdlife.org.au, and you can go to the Eagle Cam page and watch these. And of course, there's a diary which allows you to catch up with their antics so far. Very beautiful birds, actually, the white-bellied sea eagle.
Gorgeous,
obviously it's in black and white at the moment, but yeah, they've got like this lavender grey back and a pure white chest. And given that they're white-bellied fish eagles, guess what they eat?
Chicken.
Exactly right. It's not poodles, because we're spoiled with poodles. We've moved today.
Yes, we have. Of course, it is incredibly windy and now rainy outside, and it seems to be the case for many of you, actually. Fiona Ward in a windy West Sussex. Hello, Fiona. Karen Gee in a windy and wet Melbourne, Australia.
Oh.
So there we go. It's windy and wet all over the globe, apparently.
Well, look, there's a splash of sunshine.
A splash of sun. A sprinkling.
Yeah, a little sprinkle of sunshine out there at the moment. But it was terribly windy all night. I sleep with the window open. It was so windy, the wind was blowing in, and Nancy the poodle was a bit
blown away,
bit scared. She was blown off the bed. she went and slept downstairs in her own cosy bed because mine was a bit windswept. Anyway, look, what we've got coming up today, we've got a lot on today, but we have got a sad mission. We'll tell you about that in a moment. We've got Andy Rouse coming up in a bit. He's looking at yellow wagtails. Andy Rouse is our fabulous wildlife photographer who's been out and about during lockdown working on his local patches, and today he's got a great film about yellow wagtails. Mya Bambrick is going to be on. Young Mya has been out and about, and she's going to be telling us a little bit about how she has got through lockdown by spending time on her local reserves and how that's influenced her mental and physical health too. We've got some photographs, photo critique.
Yes. You know what we're like when it comes to photo critiques, but we will be nice. There's some great photos.
And then another update from the British Wildlife Centre, where we featured that last week. And of course, that's open for business. British Wildlife Centre is in Surrey near Lingfield. Fabulous place to go to visit to see British wildlife and to photograph it. So more of that coming up. We've got Luke Massey joining us, actually, which is going to be good. Luke Massey, you'll remember, is our correspondent who lives in Spain. Very fortunate, isn't he?
Oh, he's got the most amazing farm that he's living on with his family. Oh, my goodness.
Well, he's meant to be restoring it, but I think he's spending more time outside looking at the wildlife. But anyway, yeah.
I do exactly the same.
Yeah, we'd all be doing the same. So Luke will be on a bit later. Luke's film, Last Song of the Nightingale, is part and parcel of this year's virtual bird fair. We tell you a bit more about virtual bird fair as well. And then just to wrap up, I'm really sorry to say that we did have a very special guest on today, Emma Mitchell.
Emma Mitchell. She was going to be joining us to talk about the impacts that nature can have on our mental health. Unfortunately, just before we went live, she's having a few connection problems. So she won't be able to join us this week, but we hope to get her on or potentially next week or the coming weeks at some stage. So you will see Emma at some point. For
Indeed.
sure.
But we can give her book a shameless plug.
Oh, yes, we have
here
to.
it is. Look, The Wild Remedy. I've been writing about this book in the book that Megan and I have been writing this week. We haven't done anything else. Slept a little bit, ate something at one point, I think. But we've been doing a lot of writing. How Nature Mends Us, a diary. It's beautifully illustrated with Emma's drawings, with her photographs and her montages. And it's a diary of a year as she radiates from her home into her surrounding countryside. She's very candid and frank about her own mental health issues, but how being in nature has alleviated and reduced those. And also, it's great to tell you, I can tell you, I love the book. It's a very, very beautiful book, actually. It's just one of those books you like to pick up and look at and read.
Yeah, those illustrations.
Here's one of those illustrations, these sort of montages that she puts together when she's out rambling about. But Emma is also a scientist, and as a consequence of that, she has researched the science of why natural health works as a cure for some of these conditions, and there's some remarkable things in there. Anyway, look, The Wild Remedy. We will get Emma back on. She's been our contributor before.
Yeah, but I love that when she did a week on SIBC, didn't she? And my favourite thing that she told us, and it stuck with me all this time, is the reason why we love gardening so much is because of bacteria in the soil that directly affects our mental health and makes us all happier.
Exactly.
That's why we go out gardening.
Yeah. So
of course, well, other reasons too, but that is huge. That's really cool.
Tis. So, sorry, we can't be joined by Emma this morning, but we will, as Meg said, sort that out later. But I tell you what, let's start with another of our stars on SIBC.
Oh, I've got to do the quiz.
Oh, the quiz, go on.
Oh, you always forget
the quiz. I forget the quiz.
Well, lots of you have commented already saying that you are watching the stream, so thank you very much. We've got Jill Ruddick, we've got Karen Harris, Edward Cooper, Lee Polton, we've got Jane in Shropshire, Christina Pravitsky in Berlin. Oh, lots of people joining us today from internationally, which is pretty cool.
I've never been to Berlin. I've always wanted to go. No, it's one of those places I've always wanted to go. Some remarkable architecture. Yeah, there was a beautiful film made in the 80s by a guy called Wim Wenders and called Wings of Desire. It's set in Berlin and it's so picturesque. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, beautiful place.
Good art in Berlin as well.
Yeah.
Good art.
Yeah.
Anyway,
on to the
moving
quiz.
on.
So obviously every week we give you, we used to give you skulls, then we gave you some kind of artwork, and now we are giving you sound. So see if you can have a listen to this and see if you can guess what species it might belong to.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's quite tricky. I haven't heard one of those for a long time, actually.
Yeah, it is a little bit. We've got to fluctuate it a little bit, you know.
You know,
I
know.
It's a challenge. I don't think if I didn't know the answer, I don't think I'd get it.
No, that is tricky.
I did.
It wouldn't have been tricky. Here's a clue. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That wouldn't have been as tricky maybe 25, even 30 years ago. When I was a child, on one evening, I found 3 of these birds' nests in one place, and now, none of them nest in Hampshire, where we live. Not a single pair. That's what's happened in just my short ornithological career. Anyway, there we go. That is a tricky one. Okay, can I move on now?
Yes, you can move on.
You've remembered the quiz. Well done, very professional.
Yes.
All right, no points to quiz. 1-0 to Megs. Okay, so Andy Rouse is one of our correspondents. He's a brilliant wildlife photographer, travels all over the world, taking some very, very beautiful and award-winning pictures. This year, under lockdown, he's been working out of home, and one of the places that he's been exploring is a stream near where his house is. He's seen plenty of damselflies there. We featured some of his damselfly photographs, which are very beautiful. We showed a film when he was out and about looking for kingfishers.
Yeah.
If you follow Andy on his social media, Wild Man Rouse, you'll see he's been posting some beautiful pictures of kingfishers. But today he's going down to the stream and he's hiding in his tent and he's forgotten his biscuits. Here's Andy Rouse.
Yep, I'm here on the river again, and no, you're not in a time warp. I am wearing 70s hippie clothing, but no, I'm not going to get in the river to do damselflies again. I've got a rather urgent project involving this old knackered hide that's seen better days, rather like its owner, and this lovely little pool here, because there is where birds like wagtails and linnets come to bathe and drink in the heat of the day. And across the pond, come swallows and house martins with their mouths open drinking. It's seemingly an impossible shot. Well, I'm going to try and get it all in my 70s hippie clothing. Peace, man. Really controversial thing to say this, but I've actually enjoyed lockdown because it's reset my wildlife photography and it's allowed me to remember doing stuff like this that I used to do and that I'm out of the swing of. I just have such a busy life with traveling and stuff that I forget how fun this is to be in a cramped tent with the side blowing on your head, laying on stones, dying for a wee and not able to go, and sweating. I just forget how pleasurable this is. Well, it's been a quiet 2 hours, and that's fine because it's been bird siesta time. Hopefully now, while the sun is dropping, the wind is coming up, it's getting a little bit cooler, I can hear a lot more bird song. So they've got used to me, got used to the hide, and I'll get some action because I certainly couldn't have any less action than I have right now. First action, there are 2 wagtails coming now. I thought they were grey wagtails when I first saw them. I've only seen them through binoculars from afar, but it's not. It's a yellow wagtail. And yellow wagtail is even brighter than the grey wagtail male. It's the first time for me I've ever seen them up close, and they're coming. Wow, they're just coming closer and closer and closer. The female's in front. The female is much bolder than the male. The male is very, very, very shy. Oh, she's going in. Chucking water over herself. Oh, here comes the male, here comes the male. The male's coming in, the male's going in. Put the focus, just adjust the focus. The male is in the water. Amazing. He's just coming out of the water and having a shake. I'm not going to move the camera because what I want is to try and get some of him in the water again, and I don't want to move anything and create a problem, so I'm just going to wait. Too many times you scare birds in hides by moving the lenses, so it's just a question of you focus on what you want and you wait for it. Just sitting there preening himself. I'll try and get some footage later. Often birds like this will come back for a couple of baths in an evening, so once I've done the bathing, next time I'll set up for the preening, and you might get some preening as well. It's really cute. It's just so cute. Gorgeous. That was amazing. Yellow wagtails. They've gone off now back to the nest. I'm not interested in following them. That's their business over there. I'd rather they come to me here and have a nice bath, which they did. The female is a much more aggressive bather. You can make of that what you will, girls. The male was a bit shy. Oh, I'll get a bit of water on myself and shake my tush a bit like that. He was shaking his tush very well, actually. It's great. I just can't tell you how it feels. It's my first sighting of them ever up close, and to get a male in that plumage, like a budgerigar, I mean, the most incredible looking bird along with the kingfisher in the UK. And how many of us actually just watch them go by without a second glance? They're so incredible, and I hope that you've seen some of the footage here and you're inspired to go and find them yourself, because they're amazing. But I haven't finished yet, because there might be some more visitors. I've seen the goldfinch, I've seen the linnet, and I know there's a couple of pied wagtails here as well in this area. So let's just wait, fingers crossed. I'll be quiet. It's got nice and cool here. It's good. I don't have any biscuits. It seems to be a recurring theme. No biscuits. I must bring biscuits. It's a plea to biscuit manufacturers. Send me some biscuits. Shameless plug.
These are good biscuits.
No, I bet Andy'd like these.
Andy would love a biscuit.
I think, imagine if Andy had had one of these biscuits when he was in his little tent photographing those beautiful wagtails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, Andy's not the only person who likes these biscuits.
No.
Sorry, Andy. We're feeding the biscuits that we were going to send you for your next little photographic outing. We're feeding them to Sid and Nancy here. Yeah. never mind.
No.
Anyway, getting back to it, beautiful.
Absolutely
Firstly,
beautiful.
beautiful birds, but in the water bathing, stunning.
So lucky to be able to have that like nearby and be able to go and see those birds. And as it says, it does take some persistence to go out in the tent, sit in there, let the birds get used to you, your scent, everything like that. But once you've done that, the rewards are just incredible in terms of photography and things that you can get.
And I love the male yellow wagtail. They're so svelte.
Oh,
I love the word svelte. They're very svelte. They're
Mm.
lean and long and slim, and of course that colour, absolutely remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Right, last piece of biscuit. No, hold on, couple more bits of biscuit. Yeah.
And I'm covered in crumbs.
No, don't worry, they'll be soon hoovered up.
The crumb hoovers.
Yeah. Now, Andy has set up a new website. I'll make sure I absolutely get it right here. It's wildbunch.andyrouse.co.uk. So that's wildbunch, all one word, .andyrouse.uk. And there you can go and sign on for free to join up to his wild angled YouTube episodes. And these are, obviously, Andy's a photographer, so there's photographic advice in there, but Andy's photographic advice isn't all the sort of technical detail that you're not going to understand. It's the good practical detail, where to go, when to go, how to get the best angle, all of those sorts of things. So top advice on his wild angle YouTube episodes. Now, he's also got longer versions of the films that, like the one we just showed you about the yellow wagtails. And for £2 or £3, you can watch an extra half hour, which is packed full of all of those tips.
That whole episode of Andy talking about, the fantastic wildlife he's seeing and how you can go and explore it as well. It's really, really fantastic resource, and make sure you go and check it out.
Wildbunch.andyrouse.uk. There are 15 episodes on there already, and he's adding more all of the time, and you can stream them in a safe environment there. Next month, he's going to be putting up an e-talk on polar bears, Andy's polar bear pictures. Outstanding.
Brilliant.
Absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
And of course, you can follow Andy on, as I said, on social media at Wildman Rouse. Instagram, he posts pretty much daily some of his sort of archive pictures, if you like, which he hasn't been taking recently, from perhaps other places in the world, which are pretty special. And then, of course, those that he's been taking this year as well. So check that out. Wildbunch.andyrouse. Where else it? You've taken it away.
.co.uk. Yeah, some great episodes there, and always funny, always really good. Unfortunately, I hope there isn't any of his music on there.
Yeah.
But I can't make any promises.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't
it? With his music taste.
Get Andy in a hide humming Aha or something like that. I think he's into Shalimar and those sorts of things. Yeah, you won't know who Shalimar is.
No, I don't know, but
you don't want to know.
No, by the name Shalimar, I'm a bit nervous already.
Imagine if Andy had a party and we had to go and he was the DJ. Anyway, we could just.
I've got to wash my hair.
I know, you have to look in the corner, sit in the corner and talk about photography.
Oh yeah, we could do that. We do that all the time.
Okay.
Anyway, so on to our young conservationist who we are going to be showing you today is Mya Bambrick. Mya is a brilliant young naturalist. She goes out and has been exploring her local patch throughout lockdown. She's brought... What? What?
Sis.
Oh no.
Farted. It's the biscuit.
I can't smell anything. Whilst I can't smell anything,
don't get that on Spring Watch, do you?
Don't wave it to me.
Poodle fart. See, that's disgusting.
I can't
he was doing a bit of that last night. I thought he'd got it out of his system.
I can't smell it. So
hopefully I was in a windy room and it was getting wafted off the bed.
Downstairs.
But we've closed the windows. What was that about? Honestly. Right, anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you there.
I can't. I just see your face. I can't smell it, so I'm going to finish off doing this before I do smell it and go into some kind of meltdown. So Mya Bambrick is a fantastic naturalist. She's been exploring her local area. She's been doing some amazing films on her social media, which you can go and find there, and we'll give you the links to those in a minute. But for now, she has filmed a little film for us, all about how going out and exploring really benefits your mental health.
Hi everyone, my name's Mya and I'm a 17-year-old birder, wildlife photographer and all-round nature lover. I've always had a passion for the natural world. I continuously want to know more about the living things around me, what I can do to conserve them and how I can get others interested too. During the lockdown, my connection with nature grew even greater. On those hardest days, it was always there for me. It gave me inspiration and hope that the world would become a better place. I also began to broaden my knowledge on wildlife, learning about bees and butterflies. It's been a hard time for us young people. The quick switch over to online learning, the uncertainty about exams next year, and the uncertainty about knowing if we're going to be able to go to university next year too. Over the last few years, I have found nature to be really beneficial to my mental health. As a sufferer of IBS, stress and anxiety can make me quite unwell. Just experiencing the sights, smells and sounds of the natural world instantly distracts me. I really hope more people would know about the benefit of nature to mental health and well-being. Maybe in a few years' time, the doctor will be able to prescribe ecotherapy. When I'm out in nature like today, my heart rate instantly lowers, my stress level decrease, and I'm instantly distracted by the wonders of nature. So, feel the benefits yourself. Sit quietly on the grass and watch the bees buzz around you. Listen to the beautiful bird song. Watch the clouds pass you by in the sky. Smell the fresh scent after rain has fallen. Watch screaming swifts above your head. Most of all, experience the wonders of nature and enjoy the benefits it can bring you.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah, thank you very much, Maya, for putting that together. Some important messages there.
Yeah, and also makes up a bit for not having Emma with us this morning, because they're both, touching on the same sort of subject. Well, I'm sure that's what Emma would have been talking about as well. I just want to draw your attention to something that Maya's up to as well. I've got one of her tweets in front of me. It says, to celebrate my 18th birthday next month, I'm doing a sponsored walk with the RSPB at Pulborough Brooks on behalf of the Cameron Bespoker Trust. A bit of wildlife, bit of vlogging, raising as much money as possible. You can find that on virginmoneygiving.com. virginmoneygiving.com will allow you to find that, or you can follow Maya, of course, on social media, and she's Mya Bambrick, so that's Mya Bambrick 1. Mya Bambrick 1 on Twitter, and you can get all the details there. And of course, the Cameron Bespoker Trust is an organisation that works very closely with people like the BTO to afford opportunities to young people to engage with wildlife, but also to sort of progress scientifically. They do things like bird ringing under the auspices of the BRB, the British Trust for Ornithology, of course, and it's enormously successful. And so that's a good thing to do. Thanks, Maya, for that.
Yeah,
top work. She's good. I like Maya. She's very, very good, isn't she?
She's brilliant.
Committed, passionate, and knowledgeable.
Very knowledgeable. Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah, it's an important mix, a good mix.
Anyway, we've got a good mix. We've got good news.
We've got good news, yes. Yeah, this week there was some big news that has come from the Isle of Wight. Now, if you remember last year, there were white-tailed eagles were released, 6 of them, I believe. And this week, 7 more have been released.
Yeah, so this is the Roy Dennis Wildlife Foundation working with Forestry England on the Isle of Wight. These eagles have come from successful nests in Scotland, where in some places the bird has reached what we call carrying capacity. So there are as many eagles that can live in that place as can live in that place. So as a consequence of that, they're taking what was essentially surplus young, transporting them down into those aviaries that you saw there, where they rear them, make sure they're all healthy. And then after a period of time, when they're used to getting food in those aviaries, they open the door and obviously continue to feed them for some time. You can find out all about this on the Roy Dennis Wildlife Foundation website. They're obviously satellite tracking the birds. And last year's birds have been on tremendous rambles.
They've gone everywhere. They were over the Houses of Parliament. They went up north, like Norfolk way. They've been all around.
One was in Oxfordshire for a long time.
Yeah.
2 of them stayed on the Isle of Wight.
2 of them stayed on the Isle of Wight. Yeah, exactly. We don't expect to have any breeding pairs till about 2024, just because by the time the birds meet sexual breeding maturity, that will be around that time. And hopefully, The aim initially is to establish a population of between 6 to 8 breeding pairs on the Isle of Wight, which is a really important habitat for it. In fact, lots of the south coast is perfect habitat for these eagles, and unfortunately they no longer here because of persecution. So it's a really important translocation project to bring them back. So hopefully they'll establish a successful breeding population pretty soon.
And also mix with those in Holland and France
that
are there as well. So that'll be a good interface to mix with the birds here. And then if they could, there was a previous attempt at an introduction on the east coast of England, in East Anglia. That would have meant that birds could have gone from here to there, then maybe mix with those up into Scotland as well, bringing genetic diversity.
Yeah,
but here in the south of England, it's a great place. We've got what have we got? We've got Chichester Harbour, Packham Harbour, these large flat open areas, shallow water, lots of mullet.
It's going to be a good
Poole Harbour on the other direction, Portsmouth, Farlington, the Solent, of course. So there's just an enormous amount of habitat here, and it complements what Poole Harbour Osprey's been doing.
Yeah, it really does. It complements that Osprey translocation project as well. But you can, of course, follow all of the ongoings at the Roy Dennis Wildlife Foundation by following them on social media. I follow them, and I was treated to a video of a white-tailed eagle eating a cuttlefish yesterday.
A cuttlefish?
Yes.
Amazing.
It was quite a treat.
Quite
it was
like
good. So make sure you go and do that, and you can keep up to date with how these 7 eagles are doing. There'll be lots of updates there.
We're very excited, of course, because it's about I don't know. It's not even. It's about 10 miles over there.
What are the chances, right?
Well,
you think we missed it because we haven't seen it, but that they've flown over here and we haven't noticed.
But the satellite track birds we know haven't been over here, so we haven't.
But wouldn't it be amazing to look up and?
I know. It's within the bounds of capability that we could, in our garden in the New Forest, look up and see a white-tailed eagle flying over. Imagine that! Not just us, of course, because they're dispersing over the south of England. You could be in Southampton,
London,
Portsmouth.
London. That's what I've been to London. It's brilliant.
Okay, should we do some photos?
Yes, let's. So lots of you send in your photos to SIBC, and we're very grateful for that. You've got some beautiful images that come in every week, and it's one of our favorite things, Chris's, myself, Kate and Fabian, to look through that and see all the videos, comments. The discussions are really good sometimes too, and of course your photos. So now we've pulled out a few photos, and Chris and I are going to just
have a look at them.
Oh dear. Chris and I are photographers ourselves. We really like taking photos, and we are our own worst critics, aren't we, when it comes to photography?
You can't see it's just out of shot here, but there's a bookshelf here with about, I don't know how many books on it. It's got to be 100 and 150 books, I don't know. And they're all wildlife photographic books.
Yeah.
We're sticking our nose in other people's lens work.
We love sticking our noses in lens work.
Let's do it then. Let's do it.
it.
Right, who's first?
So we have this photo of a bearded tit by Paul Leach. Now, Paul Leach has actually been sending us lots of photos throughout lockdown. I quite like this. Look at that. The colours are lovely, aren't they?
Well, you see, it's like those yellow wagtails of Andy Rouse. You start off with a good bird, you're already some distance along the way to getting good photograph, aren't you? And bearded tits are pretty special. Most people go for the males with their grey caps and obviously their moustaches, their moustachial stripes. But the female's colouring here perfectly complements that background, doesn't it? Beautiful, rich, orangey.
That golden.
I know.
Just,
I like shallow depth of field. Shallow depth of field's good, so the background's soft, so you can see their focuses attention on the bird. Tail's in line with a little bit of reed there, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Beautiful colours. I'm liking it, of course. But then I love the bearded reedling.
Yes.
I love the bearded reedling.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a very, very beautiful portrait of a very beautiful bird. So that's top work.
Now, this next photograph, Chris, I know this one you're going to really like. Yeah. This is of a kestrel. This was sent in to us by Richard Bowring on Facebook. A female kestrel looking straight down my lens. Good job, I'm not a mouse.
Look at that.
I just look at that and I just think those feathers look like they're made of like stained glass or something.
I know, that's a good point, yeah.
It looks just like, that could be perfect in a window somewhere.
Yeah, but what's the most important thing about this picture?
Well, my eyes are drawn to the feet.
Symmetry.
Yes.
Symmetry.
Yes,
I love symmetry. It's so much easier to look
and you
with,
just look straight in with that bill, and those eyes point down to that bill, and you've got the talons there.
Yeah,
I mean, but it is just
it's outstanding.
It is.
It's outstanding.
It's got every tail feather. There's not a tail feather missing.
I know, all equally spaced.
It's all it's pretty good.
Do you know what? Probably, okay, I'm going to be outrageous now. I'm going to say probably the best picture of a hovering kestrel that I've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a little proviso. I prefer the male kestrel to the female in terms of its colouring, And not being ornithologically sexist, purely down to its colouring. But, you know, nitpicking. But that is outstanding.
That is amazing,
absolutely outstanding. And as you say, it's looking right at you.
I know. You just kind of, it's intense, isn't it? You're drawn in.
Very,
you feel like a mouse.
It's good, isn't
I
it?
feel like a bit of a mouse. You know?
Don't start going in the wardrobe and chewing up my coats or getting behind the dashboard of my car and nibbling the wiring.
Oh,
Do you want a mouse update? Should we have a mouse update?
There isn't one.
There's no update. The mice,
No.
we're currently mouseless.
You're mouseless.
They've been translocated into another mouse arena. Well, I've no doubt they're chewing something else up.
Anyway, on to our next photo before you go on a mouse tangent.
No, there's nothing to go on.
No, well, you never know. You go off on, you know, the most obscure of tangents. Anyways, this is an image that was sent to us by Jan Brown. This is of a blue tit. She says, I waited patiently until this little blue tit was in exactly the right place, perfectly framed.
That is exactly right.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
It is perfectly framed.
And it's in exactly the right place.
Yeah,
and it's looking
love
again.
all of that kind of, you know, that texture of that bird feeder there. I feel like it's quite cool.
Yeah, I quite like that as well.
Yeah, obviously the peanuts, you know what it is.
Do you know what I was just about to say? I mean, you probably need the peanuts to let you know it's actually in a bird feeder. Otherwise, you might, well, you know, be thinking, what on earth? Where is that blue tit? So you may not realise.
Or a sculpture or something.
Yes,
yeah, it's good to know it's in a.
But the peanuts, they're not symmetrical.
No. Do you know what would be cool with the peanuts?
What?
Right, if they were shaped like this.
Yes. What you mean, sort of
around. But yeah, I still kind of like the colour of the peanuts. I think it gives it a little bit more of a, you know, flair.
You need the peanuts.
I think you need the peanuts.
But look, the colours are all complementary again, aren't they?
I like it a lot.
The colour of the bird feeder, the blue tit, the green in the background, the yellow. It's nice. It's very good, and it's more, you know, more imaginative than. Obviously, a lot more imaginative than just a picture of a blue tit on a feeder.
I feel like that bird's been caught doing something naughty. You know, when they've got some photos, you catch an animal and they look a bit like
it's just been in there.
They've done something bad.
You know, Jan had arranged all the peanuts symmetrically, and the blue tit has just been in there and trashed it. It's pretty good.
Naughty blue tit. Anyway, on to another photograph. So this is pretty amazing bit of behaviour. This bit. Hold on to your seats and your cups of tea. Honestly.
Cups of tea.
What? Whatever you're having for breakfast.
Muffins.
Hold on to your muffins. Hold on to whatever you've got. Right.
Never lose your grip on your muffins.
So this was some photo sent in to us by Steve Young. Grass snakes catching a marsh frog.
Yeah.
2 of them.
I know.
Oh, come on.
I know.
Yes.
Well, firstly, you'd be lucky enough to see one.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but look, there's a dispute over who's going to get the frog.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the browner individual at the back has got the best grip.
Yeah.
But
it's made a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because basically, it's
Bottom
not.
first.
Yeah, yes, it's got hold of the arse end of the frog. Never get hold of the arse end of a frog, because basically, if you're going to swallow it, like if a snake's going to swallow a frog or a fish, it's got to get the head. So it's got the wrong. It's going to somehow or other have to let that, you know, turn that frog around.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if any of the, you know, viewers at home have ever tried swallowing a frog, but my advice is always go for the head so that the legs go backwards as it goes down your throat. Obviously, if you're going to try and do this, the legs are going to stick out. They're going to be stuck out the side of the mouth like this. That snake's never going to be able to swallow that frog.
Question.
What?
You speak as though you have experience, and you just said, I don't know if anyone's tried this, but this is my experience. Is that
what?
You've never tried swallowing a frog?
No, but I mean, you know, but you can see that that's not going to work.
No, it's not. Well, no, exactly. It always makes sense.
I tell you
Snakes
what,
always
what
have
would
to
be
eat
interesting, actually, Steve Young, who sent these photographs, which are great, by the way, fascinating stuff, and so fortunate to be able to see 2 grass snakes.
Amazing bit of behaviour. Incredible, yeah.
So, what about Steve? Tell us what happened. We need to know. Yes. Did the frog get away? Unlikely. Which snake got it and how did it swallow it? So we can update you next week. So Steve, get in touch if you're watching today and let us know what happened to that frog. My money's on the grass snake. What a way to go.
Which one?
What a way to go.
So a classic bit of advice there from you as well. Never get hold of the arse of a frog.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I could tell you some stories about snakes swallowing things over the years. Probably won't best we don't get into it now. It's probably some people having late breakfast. So.
Yes, no. We'll say that for another time.
Sometimes you can still see the things moving.
Okay, Let's save this for another time.
Okay.
Okay, we have a question and a photograph coming up. This was sent in by Paul Dibden. Hi SIBC, I took these photos at the weekend on a friend's farm in Dorset. Just wondering if you think this is a recently fledged young barn owl hanging around the nest site in the hole of an old oak tree.
I think this is an adult.
I think it could potentially be molting a little bit. It does look a little bit patchy, but it is an adult. But I think it's
yeah.
I think it is.
I think it probably had the nest in the tree, and at this time of year, if they've got a large number of young, they will have to start hunting in daylight. There's not enough darkness for them to be able to go out only in darkness and catch enough food for all of their young. So it's not unusual to see barn owls, out and about at 4:30, 5 o'clock on sunny evenings if they've got a nest full of hungry youngsters. They just got to start early. So I think this is an adult that was outside of its nest hole. Nice photos framed in there by the tree, though.
Yeah, it's got a beautiful face, isn't it? Actually,
I'm not a massive barn owl fan. Very controversial here.
I love a barn owl.
Its tail's really short. They've got these sort of bandy legs. They're sort of knees, ankles turned outwards. Yes, when they're flying, beautiful, but at rest,
No, beautiful. Barn owls are one of my favourite birds in the UK. I think they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. When they're hunting, and as you say, and they're out a little bit earlier in the light, in the golden light, and they're hunting across those fields, and it just looks absolutely beautiful.
Stunning.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a barn owl fan.
Okay.
So coming up next, we have a mindfulness moment for you. This was a film sent in to us by Steve Price on Facebook of a buzzard. So just sit back, relax, take it all in and enjoy.
I like those little cameo moments, relatively common bird now, of course, the buzzard, but just to have an opportunity to see one just there. And also, what he says here, what Steve says, it's for the last couple of weeks. So it's been coming back and giving people, him and perhaps other people, the opportunity to just enjoy it and that, get a good view. Good views of common birds for me, much better than fleeting views of rare ones.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I'd rather get a cracking view of a blue tit than just a glimpse of a yellow wagtail disappearing over a bush 2 miles away through a steamed-up telescope. Personally.
No, I'd have to agree, because you get to know so much more about the animal's biology. In that clip there, you could hear the buzzard, which is lovely.
Yeah.
So when you have a moment and you can just connect with the wildlife on your doorstep in that way, where it's quite an intimate thing, and you get a really kind of close-up experience like that, where you're both comfortable in one another's presence, that is where the magic happens. I think.
The magic happened for Steve. So thanks very much, Steve Price, for sending that to us. Now it's Soapbox time, and I can't believe we got to even talk about this. It's been going on for years. It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So it's sky lanterns, which are incendiary when it comes to getting people very cross on social media, because they pose a threat to wildlife. We've got a photograph here of a barn owl entangled in one of these sky lanterns, which people seem to still be compelled to light up and release. I don't understand it's still going on. And there's another thing to it. Of course, we've got to remember. Firstly, there's there's several things. Firstly, littering. Okay.
Yeah. Best case scenario, littering.
Yeah. Best case scenario. Secondly, threat to wildlife, as in the barn owl. Third, I hate to say it, fire. I mean, up until this last week, when it's been, raining, it was tinder dry here, absolutely tinder dry, as it is in many parts of the UK at times, and indeed the world. And what are you doing? You're like throwing a match into the air, and it's floating around, could land anywhere, and up goes a valuable piece of habitat or someone's home. It does just seem really crazy.
if you cast your mind back to the beginning of 2020, you might remember that there was a zoo in Germany where a couple of sky lanterns landed, and unfortunately fires started. They lost the lives of over 30 animals, including their ape house went down as well. So there are major risks associated with releasing essentially free fire into the atmosphere that will land somewhere, who knows where, could set everything alight, could just litter, don't know, end up in the ocean, entangle lots of wildlife. But also if fires do happen, then of course it's wasting emergency services time.
Risking people's lives.
Risking people's lives at a point where we've got so much going on we don't need to. And when that fire happened, something happened which I was just, I still have no words for. So that fire happened, and one of the companies, I'm not going to name the company, but a company that sells these lanterns suggested that in the memory of those animals that died because of those sky lanterns, why don't we go and release more in their memory? And then the same company, right? Get this, same company in COVID at the beginning when we were all kind of clapping on Thursday nights for our NHS, the carers, the people that really kind of helped massively with
key
COVID.
workers.
The key workers, yeah, the people that really were at the heart of protecting us against COVID. This company suggested that they release sky lanterns as a thank you.
But
what thank you is that? Key workers, they don't want to have to deal with burn patients. Come on. It's a no-brainer, you know. Obviously,
there are many other ways to celebrate.
You
don't have to release loads of plastic balloons into the atmosphere.
No.
You don't have to release fire. Would you call it free fire? You have to release free flying fire into the atmosphere.
No.
Come on, there's so many other ways. We're so much more inventive these days. You could get, I don't know, non-intrusive, non-harmful means of celebrating without using sky lanterns. Anyway, that's our rant over. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that one, are they?
No, I don't think so. There's some comments coming in here. Stephanie Tucker says, of course, effects of balloons as well. Very true. I hate it when you're on a nice walk and you see a balloon in a tree.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it's infuriating.
Every year out in the woods, I pick up about 5 or 6.
I want to just go and climb up the tree and get them, but then you can never reach them, and it's.
There's one in the barn. I picked up about 2 weeks ago, and I put it in the barn whilst I was doing the dog's leads.
Yeah.
And I mean to put it in the bin. So every year, garish plastic happy birthday in the woods.
No.
Of course, people can have a happy birthday. Don't need a balloon to do that, do they?
Yeah. No. Balloons are the source of all happiness, apparently. But no. Anyway, on to something a little, actually, genuinely quite happier. So a couple of weeks ago, Chris and I went to the British Wildlife Centre, which is an amazing place.
Fantastic, isn't it? Lingfield in Surrey, open now.
Yes.
You have to book online, of course. You go there, everything's sorted in terms of hand gels and social distancing, all that sort of stuff. But it's such a good place to go.
It's amazing. You get up close, views of wildlife that is in and around the UK, things that you would never see, wildcats, pine martens,
red squirrels, tame weasels.
You've got all these different kinds of everything, is there, and you get a really brilliant
4 species of deer.
Yeah, and you get to engage in the conservation of it as well. But one of the highlights for me had to have been when I went to meet a fox. So here is a video of me feeding this little female fox.
This is Flo. She's very hungry at the moment. She's living here at the British Wildlife Centre. She's been living here for about 8 years now, I believe. She's absolutely stunning though. You can see that gorgeous coloration on her really clearly. It's amazing when you see these animals, of course, in the wild. They live really well in our countryside, but also now in our urban areas too. And they will scavenge a lot. They're generalist feeders. They'll pick up whatever they can pretty much get their jaws onto, whether that's different kinds of meats. Flo, what's this? Good girl. And bulbs, depending on the area they're in, they have a really diverse range of diet, and they've got really powerful carnivorous teeth to help them chew through that food. The carnivorous teeth are placed right in the middle of their jaw, and that helps them to get a really good bite force and a really good gape as well. And we now know, new research has been done, and it shows that red foxes actually used to have a darker, more complex and tougher molar complex in their teeth, because they used to eat really specialised things, but now of course they've become so used to living in our environments and become a lot more generalist. Their teeth have actually softened up a little bit, although you wouldn't know that with her nibbling on my fingers the way she is.
Oh, I love those encounters.
I know.
I absolutely love them because
Yeah.
you know we have got the foxes around here which we supplement with food and stuff
But
sometimes.
you don't get that.
But you don't get, to see them up close is a real privilege, and that's something that you can do at the British Wildlife Centre. They have fantastic photography days.
Yeah.
Where you get to go and take photos of
like you did. I mean, the thing is that what you were doing there, people can do if they book up for one of the photography days, because for those you go inside the enclosures. The animals are habituated to people. Many of them are rescues. Flo was a rescued fox that had come in, so they're animals that unfortunately couldn't go back to the wild, principally because they've been hand reared before they got to the British Wildlife Centre, and as a consequence they're used as ambassadors basically, so they're great for education. Normally, I have to say, the British Wildlife Centre spends most of its time entertaining and educating school children. Huge numbers of school children go through there every year, but of course under COVID that hasn't been possible, so more members of the public are able to visit. And if you are a keen photographer, I've got to tell you, their photographic days are absolutely excellent. Got the website here, britishwildlifecentre.co.uk. You go on there and you can book up to go, all sorts of things there. Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, a few people saying that they've been recently as well.
Oh, really?
We've got Gaynor Griffin said her son met Flo last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course they've got excellent. Look, here's a picture of their face masks. We've got their face mask, haven't we? You got one over there, I think. So they've made their own face mask with photographs from the animals that they've got there. And they do. There's one here, David Mills, the owner. He's got a fox one on, which Megs is now going to do model for you. There we are.
Yeah.
Oh, and there we are.
Yeah, there we go.
There we are. And then Dame Judy Dench is there with she's snarling. I've never seen Dame Judy look like that ever before. You better show that to people. Yeah, there she is, but she's wearing a wildcat mask. Yes, so there we are.
Great.
Superb stuff. Try to get along to the British Wildlife Centre if you possibly can.
Yeah, it's brilliant place.
Excellent stuff. Okay, our next guest, we're very pleased to welcome all the way from sunny Spain, the one and only Luke Massey, who's in a very picturesque location this morning. Oh, Luke, look at that. We are envious. The mountains behind you, the puffy white clouds. Presumably it's warm.
Yeah, it's very warm. We're having a pretty incredible summer for northern Spain. We're known as like the wet Spain, and this year we've hardly had any rain. And it's not very green, but the birds are loving it. We just had a Egyptian vulture pair, which have successfully bred because they were just soaring overhead with their chick. Redback shrikes have bred really well. This is the first morning typically that I haven't heard them, so maybe they finally started heading south. So we had 2 broods on the farm. Searle bunting, yeah, it's all going off. There's still a lot of swallows about, martins. Swifts have gone though. They have left.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, now look, apart from the extensive DIY work that you're doing as you're, restoring the farmhouse that you've got there to make sure that your family is not going to be cold and wet in the winter, what else have you been up to?
So yeah, on the farm we've dug 2 large ponds, which hopefully will fill over the winter. And then otherwise, we've just been letting it go, really, much to the disapproval of some of our neighbours. I had a farmer the other day come and said, if you keep leaving me like this, it will go completely wild.
Oh, no.
So, what a shame. But yeah, so there's still a bit of confusion about that. I've got a little film for you guys for next week. I spent a week in Castilla y León last week, which is 2 hours southwest of here, in search of all manner of wildlife. It's a lot drier down there. But there's some great birds up in the hills and some quite surprising birds as well. So you'll see those next week, hopefully. And then, just kind of knocking about here on the farm. And, of course, promoting nightingales, which you guys very kindly promoted last week. So I spent lots of last year filming a documentary that we crowdfunded called The Last Song of the Nightingale. And we kind of completed it during lockdown to start getting it out there, and it premiered at the virtual bird fair last night, and you can watch it for the next month, I believe, on the bird fair's website. And it's a film that tells the tale of the nightingale. Obviously, as you guys will know, they've declined 90%, I think, in the last 50 years in the UK, due to a varied number of reasons. But of course, although we are very much guilty in the UK, that's the wrong terminology perhaps, but also they struggle on passage, on migration, and then where they overwinter in the Gambia. there's also threats that they're facing. So it's all of those combined. And what we wanted to do was use the nightingale as like the poster species, the umbrella species. It's such an iconic bird that lots of people, well, perhaps they don't know what it looks like, but they may have heard its song, or, you know, with, oh, my dogs are now running in. With all of the kind of different things involved in the nightingale, but it almost represents all our migrant birds and the birds that are, well, not just birds, species that are suffering in the UK with habitat destruction and habitat change and things like that. So yeah, we've done that, and that's gone out, so you can watch that now. And then of course the famous nightingale wing, which my friends misunderstood. I haven't chopped a wing off a nightingale. That would be quite unethical. It is a ATM street art, who's a very good street artist. It's part of the film. He painted a nightingale on the tail fin of a Vickers Wellington bomber. And the Vickers Wellington bomber was part, I think you guys mentioned it last week a bit, was part of the kind of, I don't know how you describe it, a very eerie recording of a nightingale singing, which was cut short on I think BBC Radio 4, one of the first live broadcasts. And it got cut short due to Allied bombers amassing overhead en route to bomb Germany. So ATM painted this nightingale on a tail fin of an actual Vickers Wellington bomber, which is kind of crazy that that actual piece of aircraft could have been one of the very aircraft that was in that original recording. And now, as part of releasing the film and for our next project, we are auctioning it on our website. So obviously it's a very unique, one-of-a-kind piece. I think the bids are at £3,000 at the minute.
I've got it in front of me, Luke, here, actually. I've got it now. I've been following this auction very keen. I was keen to bid. Given that I've got some other, what should we say, financial commitments at the moment, I'm not going to be able to top that £3,000. But I'm very pleased to say that it's reached £3,000. I hope you get more for it. It's an astonishing piece of work. I mean, I'm enormously envious of that person who's going to win that. It's a very beautiful and poignant piece of work, and it's on Sunbitten Media, so that's Sunbitten, all one word, media.com. The auction is still live at the moment, and as we say, it's on £3,000, which is, well, you know, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It's very beautiful. But if you haven't got £3,000, you've done prints as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we've done a limited edition print run of 75 prints, which are also on the website that you can grab. So the wing, we split the profits 50% to ATM, the artist, and 50% Sunbitten Media. And our 50% will go directly to funding our next project, which we've already decided what it's going to be. We're actually teaming up with another friend of the Self-Isolating Bird Club, Lizzie Daly, and we're going to be making a film on bearded vultures. Or lots of people know them as lammergeiers, but we're kind of trying to give them a bit of better PR. Lammergeier actually means lamb killer. And as they're a vulture, obviously they're not killers of lambs. So bearded vultures is a lot more apt. And they're bouncing back across Europe. And there's actually one in the UK at the minute, a juvenile, that as when they fledge in their kind of second year, they explore huge areas. And one's flown up to the Peak District. And I think it's been there for about 2 or 3 months now, something crazy.
Meg went to try and see it and got blown out with Indy Green and got blown out and rained on.
It's a sore subject, to be honest, Luke. I stood up on the peak for hours waiting for it, but it wasn't to be.
Wasn't to be.
But lots of people have had some amazing sightings of it, so that would be an incredible project to do.
Yeah, that's great too. So and those the prints are £75. Is that right, Luke?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, excellent. So, okay, I'd love the 3,000.
How long is the auction up for?
Oh, let's have a look. It's Sunday, the 23rd at 6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So a little while left to do that. All the links are in the chat. So if you're interested in potentially making a bid, or potentially purchasing one of those prints, you can look in the chat now, and all the links are there. So make sure you click on those, or if you just want to have a look. Yeah. Have a little look.
And also, more importantly, catch Luke's film, Last Song of the Nightingale. Now it's on that Virtual Bird Fair platform, and you can watch it there. And as we said before, it's got beautiful animation, but it's a very poignant film. Lots of contributors from all over the sort of spectrum of people's interests, culture, science, everything in there. So it's a top piece of work.
It really is.
Okay, Luke, thanks for joining us today. We look forward to your film next week. Get your sunroof on. Make sure your electric screwdriver's charged up. Want to see those shelves going up today, the roof going on. Obviously, make
We
sure.
are actually putting a new roof on this weekend, so there you go.
There you go, new roof.
All right, jolly good. All right, cheers, Luke. Take
Thanks,
care.
Luke.
Perfect.
See you
Thank
soon.
All right,
Bye.
bye. There's no danger of him putting a roof on this weekend.
You'll be able to see the Egyptian vultures flying
exactly.
over from your bed.
You could, yeah, but I mean, if the sun's shining, I can't believe he's going to be putting a roof on. Anyway, there we are.
I don't blame him either.
No, I don't.
No, go out enjoying these vultures and everything else.
So there we are. Okay, brilliant stuff. Okay, we're coming towards the end.
We are coming towards the end. I think we should reveal the quiz.
Okay,
Let's
have
quiz.
another listen then.
Yeah.
Yeah, tricky. Did people get that?
We did. We had some
Really?
people.
Wow.
Some people did get it.
Wow.
Yes, well done to everyone who did. We've got Michelle Perry, Sue Aston, Morgan Cagill, Amanda Sargent, Mary Holden, Kim Carey, Sarah Ann Edwards, Amy Menny Dance, Barbara Hayden Jones, Mandy Levers, and Suzanne Richmond Masland.
Wow, pretty
Yes.
good actually. I thought that was really tricky.
Pretty good.
Really tricky.
Yeah.
It was, of course, the call of the yellow wagtail. Really topical. Really topical. There we are.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, superb.
Great photo by Ben
Superb.
Andrew there.
Yeah, really, really good. Really
like
nice. Excellent. Of course, topical because we had them in our film
Mm-hmm.
with Andy Rouse. Andy Rouse, remember, has got his wild angle things up on his new website, Wild Bunch. And you can check out all the links for that, of course, are available in the chat as well, as we said this morning. So try and click onto that and see a bit more of Andy's work, which will be
Yes.
good. Any birthdays to wrap up?
Yes, we do. We've got a few birthdays here. So I'd like to wish Jasper Gibbon happy 7th birthday. It'll be 7 on Monday. So very happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Jasper.
In fact, Jasper drew a vulture for us
Oh, yeah?
that we showed on SIBC a few weeks ago. So thank you very much, Jasper. We hope you have a fantastic day. Keep drawing. Who else have we got? Well, let me have a little look. We've got Tim Hands, 50 on Sunday. Very happy birthday, Tim. Also, Ian Taylor, happy birthday to you for last Wednesday, 50th. Then again, I hope you had a great day. Who else have we got here? Oh, well, we'd like to do a big congratulations to everybody who got their GCSE results and their A-level results that have come in. Yeah, we're very sorry. But, congratulations. I hope everyone
I hope you've got your heads.
up.
I hope you've got your heads back together after all of that. It's just a
It's
shocking
horrendous,
debacle.
an absolute
I
shambles.
really feel a great deal of sympathy for you. I mean, if it's not stressful enough in the first place, doing your
exams,
GCSEs.
and then doing it on top of COVID, and then doing it on top of this.
So firstly, the stress of the exams, always stressful. Then you've got COVID and all of it, and that remember that came in as people were preparing for their exams. So that's like, oh yeah, just get past Christmas, go to do my exams. Oh no, we've got a pandemic, and then on top of that, a fiasco of enormous proportions. So I hope that this weekend, if your grades have been reassessed, you're going to be able to sit down, get your head together, and be in a happier place. We're sorry about that.
But I would like to say congratulations to all that did do well. I know Dara McNaughty did very well.
He did.
So congratulations to you, Dara. I also like to wish Lawrence a very big congratulations on his GCSE results. Your mum, Nicola Lemmings, let us know. So well done to you. Congratulations. You persevered and worked hard through tremendous difficulty this year. Massive hats off to everyone for sticking with it. And, anyway, well done.
I know. Just don't get me going on that. It's not the time and the place. It's not our soapbox, is it? We bang on about environmental things here, but honestly.
But congratulations.
But we like young people.
Hope you did get all the results that you wanted. Anyway, we won't get into it too much. Also, shout out to Daisy Deggs as well. So shout out to you. Hello, Daisy.
Hello, Daisy.
But wishing everyone a very happy birthday if you had a birthday recently.
Okay. So we're going to leave you with those white-bellied seagulls in Australia. Remember, that's birdlife.org.au. The links to all of our other guests and what's been going on. So that's Luke Massey's film, that's Andy Rouse, and there's Mya Bambrick's walk that she's doing when she's to celebrate her 18th birthday as well. You can find all of those in the chat. And if you can't find them there, then then please go online and try and support these people who are doing great things for wildlife.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on all the time, so make sure that you look for that. And I believe the Wild Heart Trust is going to be coming live.
Wild Heart Trust could be on live this
afternoon.
afternoon. Indeed, yes, that's at 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite windy.
It is a bit windy.
So we'll have to see what happens there. There could be some technical difficulties, but fingers crossed that the Wild Heart Trust will be live this afternoon as well.
So make sure you follow them. Lots of great news coming from the sanctuary about all those rescued animals. So make sure that you keep up to date with that.
And again, of course, Wild Heart Trust is open. You can visit. You have to book in advance. All of the government guidelines are in place, of course, to make sure you can visit there and see the rescued animals that have come into a better place.
I haven't been in a while, you know.
No.
I'm hoping to go in the next, I don't know, maybe next week.
When we finish the book.
Yes, when we finish the book. But we are, I have some exciting book stuff. We are very close, aren't we?
To what?
Wouldn't it the book?
I'm close.
It's a book.
I'm close.
I'm close.
I'm about that far away.
We're just, you know. Yeah, I've had to do finger exercise. Anyway, we're getting there. It's all very exciting. The book is nearly off it. You know, ready
End
to
of
go
the
off.
weekend.
End of the weekend.
Send.
Book is done. It goes off. It's going to have some amazing illustrations, loads of cool stuff, and it'll be ready for you on November 12th.
November the 12th.
Yes.
Okay. Weekend.
Anyway,
Send. All right. See you next week. Leave you with the White-bellied seagulls.
Have a good week, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Send. Book is done. It goes off. It's going to have some amazing illustrations, loads of cool stuff, and it'll be ready for you on November 12th.
November 12th.
Yes.
Okay. Weekend.
Anyway,
Send. All right. See you next week. Leave you with the White-bellied seagulls.
Have a good week, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.